Welcome back, everybody. 10-minute trends. This is the June edition. I am Jackson Richards. Of course, we are joined, as always, by Megan Conahan. 10 minutes, it's a guideline. Some weeks we might be a few minutes over, some a few minutes under, but the main thing is in a really concise, short format, we try to give you a few things that you need to know as advertisers, marketers, brand builders, business leaders, about what's going on in our world, some insights and some quick takeaways that you can take back to your work. So with all of that, let's kick it off. Last time, Megan, we talked a lot about how AI was kind of having its moment in our industry. Maybe it was something really new. Perhaps it is something that's kind of been building over the years. But we talked about how it's going to be a recurring topic. So let's start off today talking about how some practical uses of how some of the main kind of players as ad platforms are layering in more AI tools into their core products. So Google announced SGE. What is it? Why does it matter? What's going on there?
Yeah, so SGE is the one that I'm most excited about. So SGE stands for Search Generative Experience. This is going to be a huge change. It'll have really big implications because one, Google is, one of the largest search engines, obviously, but it's going to completely change how consumers interact with Google and how brands and publishers get traffic from Google. So if you think about organically, it could have a more negative implication as far as the traffic coming to your website. We could see some dips in overall traffic for some of those core terms, because if you are a user and you are searching a query and everything you need to know is in a generative AI answer to you pulled from multiple publishers, why would you necessarily have to click on a brand's website or a publisher's website to learn more?
And there's no doubt that generative AI is a huge threat to publishers, or at least it's a major worry right now.
Yeah.
So it's a topic we'll cover in the future. But I understand the concern there.
Exactly. And Google has said that they are committed to continuing to send traffic to different websites. And I'm sure we will find a nice balance there. But for brands, you're going to have to think about the search generative experience as like position zero. Right. It's going to really challenge advertisers. How do you create content that fulfills that nuanced user intent, essentially, and making sure you have a really robust, holistic SEO strategy to offset any losses. On the paid side, it's shoppable in nature, which is really kind of exciting. And I think Google's really hopeful that a more like native ad placement will increase conversion rates, click-through rates, give them more dollars. I'm sure that is a huge hope for them. But still, I think it is something, we don't have performance metrics yet. They have not really shared any of that yet. So just keep a really close eye, both organically and on the paid side, on keywords, on your bidding strategies, things like that. Because the one thing I'm really tracking is that I think keyword bidding strategies, they are going to have to become more nuanced, right? It is not going to be the same. We are all going to have to make really huge pivots to our search and our Google strategies specifically. And then on the consumer behavior side of things, you can see how this could completely change how consumers search, right? We might not be searching like we currently do, one word, two words, things like that. We might be searching in a different way to get that generative AI response. So I think it's really going to upend the search kind of ecosystem, and even Amazon is talking about toying around with something like that. So that's the thing I'm tracking. But again, keep an eye on performance, keep an eye on your keywords, keep an eye on increases and decreases in traffic, click-through rates, conversion rates, performance overall. So.
Yeah, on the paid side, obviously the hope from both the platform side as well as the brand and agency or marketer side is that these tools do and these kind of capabilities do improve performance. But we always take a test and see approach. If you listen to the platforms, you should always be putting all of your budget into these new things, and we don't always recommend that right away.
Yeah, test and see. It'll probably roll out slowly, certain keywords, etc. But again, test and see what happens. We're all gonna be in this together, and as we have more learnings on what works and what doesn't, we'll obviously share them.
So moving over to the other main platform for most of us, Meta is also doing the same in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. They are incorporating new AI tools into their marketing platform. What's
Mhm.
going on the Meta side?
Yeah, so Meta announced something called the AI Sandbox. And what this is essentially a testing ground for all their new AI. So if you're one of the lucky few advertisers who've gotten kind of use of this, start playing around with it. It's really cool. So there are three new tools that they released. The first one is called text variation, essentially allowing you to use AI to just test different text, right? You should already be doing this already.
Yeah.
Second one is a background generation. Allows advertisers to test different backgrounds with their essentially product shots, could increase click-through rates, performance, et cetera. And then the third one is called image outcropping, which essentially allows you to adjust your aspect ratios for different visuals. So yes, the tools are great. I think it's really interesting. And if you have access, great, use them. And if you don't, just know that these tools are coming down the pipeline for you very soon. But I think the more interesting thing is that this is something Meta is going to continue to do. And you're going to keep seeing new tools added to their AI sandbox. And advertisers are going to continue to test. And it really is them trying to take some of that bandwidth or some of the the nitty gritty kind of challenging parts of advertising away from advertisers and away from agencies, and ensuring that they make it really seamless and really easy. But again, test it. Who knows what text is going to come from them? Who knows how good the background image is going to look? So just continue to test. Make sure you're vetting absolutely everything, and just keep an eye on Meta and how they continue to try to get more dollars from you by making your lives easier.
A few moments ago, you mentioned how Google was constantly investing more resources into making shopping more seamless, both for the consumer side as
Yeah.
well as the brand side. Meta seems to be doing the same. So,
Mhm.
what are some of the ways they're updating shopping in Meta?
Yeah, so the other big change with Meta is on Meta Shops. So Meta Shops has essentially been driving more traffic to its native in-app checkout than it has for its brand.com. So essentially, if you go to Meta Shops, you are going to be more likely pushed to the native Meta, Instagram, Facebook checkout option versus checking out on brands.com. And they're doing this for two reasons. Obviously, one, they lost a lot of first-party data or a lot of data with iOS 14, so they're trying to get that data back. That's a selfish reason. But the other reason that they would do this, maybe if they didn't get all the data, is consumer behavior is changing. And 60% of consumers say they want to check out at the same place they discover a brand. So this is just where we're going overall. And Meta is kind of slowly forcing advertisers to make the change.
Okay, one last topic for today. Let's make a pivot to a topic that is kind of near and dear for us. That is CTV. Most of our viewers may
Mm-hmm.
know that streaming media is a big piece of our client portfolio at Direct Agents.
Mm-hmm.
And CTV as an ad market is continuing to grow incredibly. I think according to eMarketer, by 2027, it's going to be a more than $40 billion market.
Yeah.
So what are some of the major updates that are happening in the CTV space as it pertains? Obviously, there's a lot of updates from a streaming platform
Oh my gosh,
perspective on
yeah.
the viewership side, but how about from the marketing standpoint?
Yeah, so from a marketing standpoint, there are four things that I think were kind of interesting this past month. One, Netflix is officially going to start enforcing their anti-password sharing policy, essentially just trying to force people's hand to subscribe to the ad-supported version of Netflix. Netflix has been getting a lot of heat from advertisers, both around their targeting capabilities, which they're working on, but then also that the audience is too small, right? Advertisers, there's a big demand for Netflix and they really can't fulfill it at this point. So they're hoping by, leaning into forcing users to do this, they can increase the ad dollars that they get, make advertisers happier, etc. So we're going to see Netflix, potentially more Netflix ad supporter inventory very, very soon. But then the other thing is that just expect this from all the Netflix competitors, right? This is the first shoe to drop.
Yeah.
They are not going to be the last. I would expect it from any ad supported or potentially ad supported kind of partner out there. So overall, this is going to be industry-wide change. It'll increase inventory. It'll potentially make things maybe a little more affordable. I don't know. We don't really know what it quite means yet, but it's really excited. The second thing is that Amazon's free streaming service Freevee is getting more premium content, which is really exciting because for the same exact reason, they want to get more inventory, they want to get more users. So again, adding more premium content is a really great way to attract those eyeballs because it is all free, ad supported, obviously. So expect more inventory there. One that I'm actually really excited about is Amazon Prime Video. So kind of in the same vein as Netflix, but they're toying with a lower Prime Video price or a lower Prime price supported by ads on Prime Video. So one, this is going to be a huge new distribution source for advertising, right? And it could potentially lower the cost of Prime for users, which could get more people on Prime. And we talked about this last time, but Amazon's targeting capabilities are unlike many other platforms.
Especially from a purchase intent and purchase history standpoint.
Yeah, and having access to that, in coupling that with Prime Video ad supported, it could be really quite big. So just track that. It's not out there yet. It'll probably take a little bit of time, but that's one that we're tracking really closely. And then some more tactical ones, Max or HBO Max.
It's a whole confusing can of worms that we don't have time to explore today.
My husband was convinced that it was like a fake app. He'd Google it and say like, is HBO Max really Max? And I was like, it is, I'm telling you. But anyways, they're adding some new interactive ad units. Again, just increasing inventory, different types of ads available for different types of advertisers. And then finally, YouTube launched a 30-second unskippable ad, which is just a commercial. But still really exciting for many brands. It's there specifically for YouTube Select. And why this is kind of fun is that YouTube Select, they say 70% of YouTube Select's viewers are viewing on a TV. So it is a very natural thing to have more unskippable ads. Advertisers seem really excited about this. So if you have maybe TV spots that have done well in the past, this could make sense for you. So those are the big ones. There's just things happening all of the time, obviously, but those are the ones in the last kind of 30 days I've been most excited about.
As always, there are more things to talk about in general than we're able to do on this video series. If you want to hear more of the other topics and see our insights, definitely check out Megan's monthly marketing memo, her LinkedIn newsletter. I'm sure we will link it down below. Megan, thank you as always for your knowledge and insights. And we will be back in July for our next episode. Thank you.
Bye, guys.